reconfigurable antennas. So before this, I think everyone is aware of what is antenna and what is the importance of antenna in our daily applications. So antenna is basically a current radiating element. So many of us have a doubt that whether it is a current radiating element or a voltage radiating element. It is definitely a current radiating element, since it is able to process only the radiation parameters through the element of current, and antenna can act as a sensor. So it is able to convert whatever the energy radiated by the antenna. So these particular antennas play an important role in communications and also applications like 5G and many more applications like satellite optical communications. Generally, antenna's length is very short, but the radiated power which is radiated by any antenna is high. So we are able to design an antenna with different parameters like gain, directivity, beam width, next power, radiated power, and the most important figure of merit of any antenna is signal to noise ratio as in a communication system, and gain and directivity in the case of an antenna. So these are the basics we know about the antenna, and we are interested in antenna methodologies. So coming to the antenna, we can have a basic antenna classification like resonant antennas and also non-resonant antennas. Now to today's topic, we are going to discuss about reconfigurable antennas. So what is reconfigurable? So this particular antenna has a capability to modify itself in any situation, and it is controlled in a reversible manner. That is, generally we see that from an input to output any transmission is done in any device, but here in this reconfigurable antenna, the name itself indicates it is reconfigurable. And so these particular reconfigurable antenna, how they are connected and how their mechanism is done. So the mechanism for the reconfigurable antenna is done through these different devices what we have studied in our basic electronic devices and circuits, such as varactor diode, it is and also switches like RF switches. So since we want to use these particular antenna at high frequency applications like 5G, wireless, in practical applications, we are using these reconfigurable antennas, and it is able to control itself in a reversible manner. So particularly the antenna surface through which the reconfigurable antenna applications we can see in our daily life, like which antenna can be where these reconfigurable antenna applications play a major role in wireless communication. So we can use these in cognitive radio. Okay, nowadays everyone is interested to do research on cognitive radio. Already you had a session on this, and also multiple input, multiple output channels, satellites, space communication. So all these are the applications of reconfigurable antennas. So these reconfigurable antennas are efficient, and they are full single purpose antennas. So why we are going for reconfigurable antenna is we are having an advantages in cost, weight, and also we can dynamically alter the particular frequency parameters and also polarization, radiation properties in a controlled manner. So we can even use our basic circuits like FETs and also photoconductive elements to improve the dynamic performance of our reconfigurable antennas. So these particular reconfigurable antennas can use different techniques for internal structures and has a challenging effect to achieve good gain, good efficiency, stable radiation pattern, good impedance. So that is the reason we go for reconfigurable antenna. And the reconfigurable antenna also, how we are able to how we are able to achieve is they are offering, that is the reconfigurable antenna offers less cost in saving weight, volume. So these are the advantages why we go for reconfigurable antennas. So coming to the rapid growth of communication, wireless communications, and high demand for multiple wireless standards into a single platform, we require an antenna which can operate with a good frequency and also the radiation pattern. So for this particular reconfigurable antenna, frequency, okay, ranges from several, okay, so it depends on the which type of design we are choosing. So this particular reconfigurable antenna can be used in particularly wireless LAN application. Next, the band of this particular reconfigurable antenna which we are working at present for radar application is 9.2 gigahertz. So several gigahertz. So depending on the reconfigurable antenna applications, that is if you are using for wireless LAN, it is for 2.4 gigahertz. If it is for WiMAX, okay, it is for 2.3 to 2.4 gigahertz. If it is for Wi-Fi, 2.40 gigahertz, so on. So these reconfigurable antennas provide these particular applications. And the main application of reconfigurable antennas present, ISRO is designing project on airborne radar applications, which is working at 9.2 gigahertz. So these are the advantages of reconfigurable antenna. And that is the reason why we are going for configurable, the concept of configurable in our antenna. And also it can cover LTE bands also. We can design a reconfigurable antenna to be compact. So coming to the types of antenna configuration, we have 4 configurations as we know. One is frequency configuration, radiation pattern configuration, polarization configuration, and compound reconfiguration. So frequency configuration, as we know that it should be able to adjust dynamically, and we are able to calculate the radiation pattern depending upon the spherical distribution of the coordinate system. So as we know, we are calculating the coordinate system in our antenna basics. There we are calculating r, theta, phi parameters. So that is the radiation pattern in a basic antenna. So to check the same reconfiguration in our reconfigurable antennas, we have to see the frequency reconfiguration, radiation pattern. Next, polarization. As we know, polarization, it indicates the direction of your instant electrical field, which is a vector. So these are the main advantages why we are going for our reconfigurable antenna. So coming to the technology which is existing for or which is behind the reconfigurable antenna is reconfigurable arrays and also switches. So why we go for arrays? Since we want to operate more than one element of a frequency and more than one desired radiation pattern, and to cover the entire region of particularly all the parameters, we are going for the particular array configuration, more than one element. So we have different classification of arrays. One is linear array, non-linear array, circular array, binomial array. So of all this, since this is a reconfigurable antenna, we are using the name called as reconfigurable arrays. And we in this we are using mechanical movable parts to connect them, and also RF switches. So point by point, let us discuss what is reconfigurable antenna technology. So if we go for reconfigurable antenna technology, we see the first one is mechanically movable parts. So these mechanically movable parts are used in reconfigurable antennas with the help of a reflector antenna. So we know already what is reflector antenna, which is having a paraboloid reflector, a spherical reflector, a conical reflector. So these particular reflector antennas are fed to steer the main beam and also to change the respective frequency bands. So the reconfigurable array, which you can see in the diagram. So this is a reconfigurable array which is having a sub-array, elements, moved, expanded, and also original. So it is built on a geodesic dome. So you can see the dome in which the original is present and the expanded array of elements is present. And also the yellow region represents whatever in the diagram you can see, it represents the regions of activated subarrays. So these particular elements are moved and then they are expanded. So this is the particular reconfigurable arrays we can see. So coming to the next concept, that is RF switches. So why we are going for RF switches? Already we have discussed that we want to use this antenna at high frequencies of gigahertz range. So normal switches will not work since they are being open circuited or short circuited. But if we go for the RF, that is the RF switches, they can open or close a current path for any reconfigurable antenna. So these radiation pattern which we want to calculate for a reconfigurable antenna depends on the particularly the properties of antenna radiation properties such as impedance. So the radiation properties which we are calculating is particularly the parameters we calculate by considering the R, theta and phi. So the RF switches which we must be consider will be mechanical or semiconductor. So the some switches we are using for this particular reconfigurable antennas are low array and also low pass filters we can use, which we are able to see that particularly it removes the filtering components and it can act as an excellent selective circuit. So the particularly if we go for the other filters, we can come across the other type of filter which can be used for construction of reconfigurable antenna is isolation filters, and also we can we can also calculate the insertion loss with respect to this reconfigurable antenna. So switch, it is like just a automatic on and off. So likewise, if the characteristic impedance which is calculated is non-reflective in nature, it is matched to the transmission path, else it is reflective. So these particular RS switches play a major role in our reconfigurable antenna. So coming to the next classification, as we know in the case of a normal FET, that is field effective transistor. This particular field effect transistor has source, gate and also drain. So this is the general diagram of FET, field effect transistor. So if you increase the voltage, what happens at the gate is, it is the conducting channel size between the gate and also particularly source will particularly increase, and FET switches in some particularly in several varieties. So between the source and drain, we can see that the gate is being connected. So if you increase the voltage regarding the source and drain, there the gate at the gate the oxide is connected. We can see the oxide is a layer and it is having several varieties. So if you see the pin diagram of this pin diode, we have widely used microwave switch such as pin diode. So it is heavily doped. So doping means adding up of impurities is nothing but called as doping. So these are separately wide and also lightly doped but not heavily doped, because in this we require the forward biasing of a pin diode. We are lightly doping it. Based upon the result, it is a open circuit or closed circuit, it will be decided. Next, the difference between the two switches is, we can see the pin diodes are current controlled while the FETs are voltage controlled. As it is, we know that FET is having high impedances, BJT is having low impedance. So that is the reason we go for field effect transistor. So these pin diodes also have the ability to control large RF signal. So the larger radio frequency signals can be controlled by using pin diodes. General normal PN junction diode and xenon diode are not compatible. That is the reason we are using pin diode in the case of reconfigurable antennas. So the next in discussion and the current the VLSI people, research people are doing is on MEMS, MEMS switches. So these are the types of MEMS switches in the on and off position you can see. So the cantilever off, the cantilever on. So three types of MEMS switches in the on and off position. So if the capacitive is in the off position, we are seeing a dielectric. and if the capacitive contact is in on position, we are seeing a substrate. So these are the different types of MEMS switches we have. So the MEMS switches are tiny, and also they are mechanical switches, and on a substrate we are able to see a different type of substrates like silicon, quartz, and also glass. So MEMS switches, why we go for MEMS switches is these have low power consumption. That is the reason we are going for the MEMS switches. Then the cantilever which we have seen in the figure 1 and 2 is anchored position on the left. You can see in the diagram it is anchored on the left, and an electrostatic force is applicable to pull this particular switches into the drain condition, and these are very lightweight and also small cost. That is the reason we use this MEMS switches in our reconfigurable antenna. Next, if we go for the brief discussion on the particular reconfigurable antenna, we are using tunable materials. So these tunable materials, why we use these tunable materials is because they provide high conductivity, like ferrites or liquid crystals. They are having a capability to provide high conductivity, and also static applied electric field can be achieved. So these are the different two materials we used in the case of our reconfigurable antennas. So till now whatever we have discussed is what is reconfigurable antenna, what are its different classification, how reconfigurable antennas are being classified, and how they are being used. Now we are going to the next part, that is for practical sessions. Why reconfigurable antennas? So coming to the reconfigurable antennas, okay, so we need to see what are the practical applications. So first we are going to discuss about the MEMS switches. Already we have discussed. Now we are going to see its implementation in the coming slides. So then the design specifications are designed by Rogers, 2 GPS application frequencies. So we are going to see a reconfigurable antenna for practical applications, and how MEMS is preferred to the switching methods, and how we are going to use a matching network. All will be designed in the design specifications of reconfigurable antennas. So this is the system block diagram. So before designing any reconfigurable antenna, we have to take any sort of antenna which is nothing but your microstrip patch antenna. So you can see in the diagram the microstrip patch antenna. So this is generally a flow chart. I have designed patch 1 to patch 2. Patch 1 is connected to 1.5 gigahertz. Patch 2 is connected to 1.22 gigahertz. If it switches is connected, it is on condition, and else it will be off condition. So while it is an off condition, it inserts a speed to 50 ohms. So you can see here. So this is your particular block or diagram of your system block diagram. So then the output is connected to coaxial connector. So all these are being demonstrated by Rogers, and they are from Rode and Sarges company who have designed all this patch antenna. And I have implemented some results by taking all those into my work. So switching methods, you can see we are using MEMS switches. This is a source, gate, and drain. Whatever I have shown the physical diagram, here I am showing the diagram. So 0.3 dB insertion loss at the rate 2 gigahertz. The packet size is 1.9 mm into 1.8 M5 mm. Okay, so very small size for this particular RMSW. So what is RMSW? So RMSW is nothing but it is your reflect, particularly a switch. Okay, a switch which can be used in particularly our reconfigurable antenna for changing the conditions with respect to the radiant of MEMS. So you are able to use any type of switches during your design. Next, this is the MEMS operation we have. So you can see the actuation, voltage, the substrate, the top view. Okay, then you have source, beam, gate, drain. This is the top view. Upon this, you are connecting the substrate. So if you are seeing the plus or minus the 90 VGS, that is voltage of gate to source actuation voltage. So if you see this particularly here, so you are connecting source, gate, and drain to the substrates and to the different contacts. And we are considering the source resistance and drain resistance for our design specification of reconfigurable antenna is 100 kilo ohms and stability. So now we are implementing MEMS, that is MEMS. So you can see here MEMS, that is RS or LS for the source, RF to input, gain VG, next to the DC ground, drain. So open source and closed source. If it is open, it is connected to particularly drain. If it is closed, it is connected to gate condition. So this is the implementation of MEMS. So before implementing the MEMS, we have to see the MEMS switches operation. That is, plus 5 volt supply line is connected to DC converter. It is given to MEMS gate. So from these particular switching methods, we are going to design a FET diagram. So this is our FET diagram. We can see DC converter plus 5 volts to minus 90 volts, and we are designing it to DC converter switch. So here we are assuming the switch, resistances for R2 and R1 as 9.1 mega ohms. So you can see how much is the particular resistance of our reconfigurable antenna design. So next we are seeing the DC converter switching method from plus 5 volts to minus 90 volts, how it is being converted. So this is the DC to DC converter timing. That is the waveform you observe in the drain and the waveform we observe in the gate. So upon this, we are implementing the MEMS switches by having a double stick thermal type of wire bonding, and also gold plating can be designed for implementing MEMS. So why we need to design this with thermal tape and also conductivity epoxy. So conductivity epoxy as conductive epoxy. So as in our VLSI, we know what is conductive epoxy. So conductive epoxy is nothing but we are using it for higher engineering applications. That is the reason we use always conductive epoxy adhesives. So these provide us a number of applications for shielding or in EMC, electromagnetic compatibility applications. That is the reason we always use MEMS switches for conductive epoxy, which is of double stick thermal tape. Okay, and the bonding which is used is nothing but your wire bonding. You can see from the diagram. Next is the MEMS evaluation board. So you can see the MEMS evaluation board. This you are able to see. So the MEMS evaluation board, we are having different ports. Port 1, next port 2, okay, next port 3, sorry, port 1, port 2, ground configuration. So you are able to see the particular biasing is connected to ground, and here it is connected to VG, that is gain gate voltage. Next here it is connected to gate voltage. Next here it is connected to gate voltage. This is our particular MEMS evaluation board. So this MEMS evaluation board, if we go for the MEMS evaluation calibration board, we can see the port 1 and port 2 are having a various biasing voltages with respect to grounds and also voltages. So this is the configuration of our voltage biasing for our MEMS evaluation board. So coming to this particular MEMS evaluation board, we can see 4 boards back to back implemented for MEMS design. So at each design, we are able to calibrate at the first one, second one. See from in the diagrams you can see. So first point we are calibrating the voltages. Second point, next third point, port. Next, we are again calibrating at the port 1 to port 2 by having a closed structure. So, and after the first point is completed, next we are going for the second point, MEMS evaluation board. Next, we go for the third MEMS. So, almost all the ports are being uh, evaluated to have a configurations of voltages and currents. Next, if we are able to see this microcircuits which we have designed, the design was whatever the design we have implemented was given to particularly person called as Robert Modica for design, and after the specifications we have carried forward to that person for implementing in the practical application. Next, after the MEMS switches, the most important design for this particular patch, and this we have seen in the first slides, like patch antenna, two patches, patch 1 and also patch 2s are available. So if we go for the patch antenna design step 1, okay, so you can see the length which we have taken here is 30 mm and width is 40.25 mm. So these are the patch antenna designs we are using, and we are implementing the general formula of the variant length as del L and also EFF, and we can see the width and also height of the dielectric different patch substrate antennas by the general formula. So after that we take the height as 1 mm, okay, equal to 1 mm, and design it with for L is equal to 30 mm and also width is equal to 40.25 mm. So if this patch antenna, whatever we have designed here, we can see that the height we have considered is less than 1 mm. So, and individually design for height is equal to 1 mm, because we have two patches, height equal to 1 mm, height is equal to 1.9 mm. So we here with the length we have taken as 30 mm and also width as 40.25 mm. So this is our particular patch design antenna configuration. So these reconfigurable antennas, why we use patch for this? Why we use patch is enhanced bandwidth, operating frequencies. And if we want to use it for wireless applications for reconfigurable, it can be used for E-shaped patch antennas. It can be used for reconfigurable patch antennas for wireless applications. So so how does a patch antenna radiate? So the patch antenna will radiate with respect to the minimum voltage and also half wavelength. So if we are having a minimum voltage and also a half wavelength, the patch antenna can radiate around the fringing fields of the edges. So the frequency range with which the patch is able to design is 5 gigahertz to 5.9 gigahertz. So these are the different range of frequencies with which our particular reconfigurable antennas can operate. So coming to the design, whatever I have implemented is I have taken at a frequency of 1.575 gigahertz patch antenna. So you can see that 1.575 gigahertz patch antenna design. So this 1.575 gigahertz patch antenna design has, so these particular 1.57 gigahertz patch antennas can be defined for dual band, and also it can be used for as a bandwidth of high frequencies. And why we are using this particular frequency in my design is, if I want to use for any applications like global positioning, GPS, nowadays everyone is interested for navigation. So there we can use this particular patch antenna for 1.57 G5 gigahertz. So I have used the software called as Anasis HFSS to design this particular 1.575 gigahertz, and I have considered an antenna which is printed on a FR4 epoxy with a permittivity of 4.7. The parameters, whatever I have considered is parameters, and a loss tangent of 0.019, and the width of 7. So already we have seen the width we have taken, height we have taken as 30 mm into 40.25 mm. So here we are calculating this particular on a FR4 microstrip antenna, and these are able to generate some results. So before going to that, we have to see that how these ports 1, port 2, whatever we have seen are defined. So we know a basic RLC circuit, and which is having ports. One is input port, second port whatever we have is port 2, that is through port. Another one is third port, coupled port. Fourth port is isolated port. So but here in our design we have only used 2 ports and implementing our drain, gate and source between them. So these particular composite patch antennas are designed with a 3 dB hybrid coupler also. So you can even design this for 1.69 gigahertz. That is, you can increase it if you are able to reduce the return loss. So these particular patch antennas are designed with a composite of elements. Even we can use particularly hybrid couplers in our reconfigurable antennas to achieve low losses, and also losses like insertion loss or isolation loss which we have, those can be achieved in this particular. So if we use a frequency ranges for this, and if we are able to apply any broad applications like GPS, this plays a major in our particular research. And nowadays in the reconfigurable antennas, graphene materials are also used. So if you want to observe the graphene material properties or the purpellants what we are using for our reconfigurable antenna, we can visit our ISRO or DRDO, where we can see those antennas which are designed at our practical frequencies for wide range of applications. So these particular as we all are faculty members and also students, we are interested to do research. You can even apply projects in respond scheme under ISRO, okay, and also in the other schemes which you can see in our DRDO. Even one scheme will be there for early career student research scheme, ECRS scheme, where we can design these antennas. Just to design it and implement it, and just configure your idea to them. If your idea is being selected, then they are able to carry out further proposed research on that. So these all can be implemented in this particular 1.57 gigahertz, covering this particular bandwidth. So coming to the simulation, so as I discussed, I have used the HFSS software, and I have plotted different coefficients in this diagram. So if we see the magnitude and frequency plot, the first plot you can see, okay, so it increases and it decreases, and it again increases the SSN, and in the phase for this particular 1.27 gigahertz patch antenna, you can see the frequency simulation range, and 1 to 2 gigahertz you can see. So my observation is done at 1.227 gigahertz results. So these are the parameters we at different frequencies. You can see we are increasing the frequency. The S11 quotient is going on decreasing, and again at a point of 1.227 gigahertz, the middle you can see we have increased. Okay, so it is maintained. It is again the values are being increased, and we are calculating the parameters. So this is the insert match feed matching network, whatever I have considered for my design. Frequency I have taken this much, length with ER, and also E references Z0. So these are the insert feed matching networks we have taken, and also we have calculated for the different values. So let us see the first design step. So this is the basic formula to calculate y naught cos inverse of z naught, that is output impedance by input impedance, Ly pi length. So with W naught I have considered. Okay, so the patch 1 and also W1, you can see W1 is equal to W naught if only if you are considering 50 ohm microstrip line. So this is the insert feed design step 1. So this is the insert design. So for different lengths and widths, we have calculated the feeds through this, and the design step 2, the height you have considered it as 1 mm. Next, we after this particular frequency of 1.25, I have gone for 1.575 gigahertz. So 1.75 gigahertz, you can see a sharp narrow which is being decreased at this particular insert. Then again it has been increased. Same I have implemented for the 3-4 frequencies I have designed, and I have made a comparison for our reconfigurable antenna switches. So this is your 1.227 gigahertz. You can see the simulation results are different for each and every frequency. So here after this, particularly there is a sharp increase and also decrease in your particular frequency with respect to magnitudes which are calculated in dB. So here these are the insert results you can see. So at a particular frequency range, like where I am calculating, that I have marked with the blue or black lines. Other frequencies also you can consider, but my design consideration is for that particular frequency. So this is the antenna system layout. Okay, after I have designed all this, I have given to the particular person to design the according to my specification, the layout is being designed. So in the layout you can see it, the two patches and a feed has been inserted in the middle. Next, this is the fabricated antenna system we have. So these are the after completion of all the range of frequencies, I have come for the fabrication. So any questions you can ask me. Participants, any questions you can ask me. Any queries?
Participants, any queries? Participants? Is there any queries? You can ask, ma'am.
I think hope no queries, madam. Thank you. Thank you for giving this opportunity. Thank you, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you, ma'am. Wait a moment.